Industrial Revolution between Russia and Britain. The revolution had many impacts on the societies of Russia and Britain. Nicholas II was a deeply conservative ruler and maintained a strict authoritarian system. Individuals and society in general were expected to show self restraint, devotion to the community, defend to the social anarchy, and sense of duty to the country. Between 1890 and 1910, the population of St. Petersburg went from 1,032,600 to 1,905,600. This created a new proletariat which, due to being crowded together in the cities, was much more likely to protest and go on strike than peasantry had been in previous times. In one 1904 survey, it was found that an average of 16 people shared each apartment in St. Petersburg, with 6 people per room. There was also no running water, and piles of human waste were a threat to the health of the workers living there. Workers also had a good reason for discontent. Overcrowded housing with often deplorable sanitary conditions, long hours at work, constant risk of injury and death from poor safety and sanitary conditions, harsh discipline, and inadequate wages. Dissatisfaction with Russian autocracy culminated in the huge national upheaval that followed the Bloody Sunday Massacre of January 1905, in which hundreds of unarmed protesters were shot by Tsar's troops. The traditional marriage of the laboring class during the British society, women would marry men of the same social status. Example, a shoemaker's daughter would marry a shoemaker's son, and marriage outside of this norm was not common. The industrial belt of Britain stretched from the Scottish lowlands to the valleys of southern Wales. The establishment of major factory centres helped develop networks of canals, roads, and railroads. Safety was very poor in early industrial factories and mines, and there was no injury compensation for the workers as well. The injuries from machinery would cause whole fingers to be cut off, mild burns, severe arm and leg injuries, amputation of limbs, and even death. However, diseases and cancer were the most common health issues that had long-term effects to the workers. Children were required to work under machines all day in tight areas to clean and oil. Young children were worked to near exhaustion to where they would fall asleep over machines. If they were caught sleeping or showed up to work late, they were beaten and tortured by their masters. The 1819 Cotton Mills and Factories Act forbade the employment of children in cotton mills of children under the age of 9, limited the hours of work for children 9 to 16 to 12 hours. This act is a major step towards a better life for children. They were less likely to fall asleep during work, therefore less injuries and beatings to occur to them. Children in the mines did not have it any better. They would start working at the age of 4 or 5, both boys and girls. A large proportion of children working in the mines were under 13, and a large proportion of them were ages 13 to 18. The conditions in the mine were not remotely safe. Children would often have limbs crippled and bodies distorted, or they would be killed. The consolidation of farmlands as a result of the enclosure movement, in which wealthy aristocrats petitioned the government to own lands and the community used to share, pushed poor people off the farms and into the towns and cities. The flow of rural people into cities overwhelmed the physical facilities. Poorly built, inexpensive houses were developed and people crowded into them. Public health facilities such as adequate sewage systems could not keep pace with the growth of the population.